Hey, good morning and welcome to the Stokastic.com MLB strategy show. I thought yesterday when I was doing this show at the same time, I thought we had an early slate. Apparently not. In fact, not only do we not have an early slate, we have a 4-game main slate tonight starting at like 6:40 Eastern time or whatever that may be. But baseball is here no matter what, and we're going to talk about it. Interesting slate. Yusei Kikuchi on the mound, Sonny Gray, Eric Lauer, some fun ones. Yeah. And I don't necessarily know what we're going to get, because when you've got a 4-game slate like this, a lot of times you may have the sims and the tools just go super overweight and get a ton of the chalky guy or fade him entirely. I mean, we see that all the time. So we're going to dig in, see what we can come up with. As always, happy to have you guys here. If you don't mind, take a single second to atone for your sins this fine morning. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. Goes a long way. I appreciate all of you guys for that in advance. And hey, if you are watching and this has already gone live, it's over, leave a comment. Say what's up. Say hi. Feed the algorithm. You know, feed the YouTube overlords, the way it goes around here. But anyway, appreciate you guys hanging out. We got a small slate, but we'll do everything we can. Happy to have you guys here. Keith, Landon, Rich, oh, my friend Fistula, Aaron, Harold, all you guys. Let's make it happen. Jake, as always. So we'll just work. We don't have to spend a ton of time today. We'll work through the pitchers. We'll work through the stacks, look at some individual exposures. Yesterday afternoon was a weird one. You had all of these pitchers who just didn't look good ended up being solid, right? Like old Sandy in Miami, solid. Meanwhile, you know, guys like Spencer Strider worked his pitch count up massively, got out of that first inning. You're like, okay, here we go. We're cruising. Now just get us through 6 clean innings. Nope. 3-run bomb in the 5th. Finished with 7 Ks. It was 5 innings, 3 earned. 7 Ks, but still not what you're looking for. Meanwhile, so many of these other guys, like, oh, Lodolo was outrageously good. You needed him yesterday. It's a weird one. And then on the night slate, Luzardo looked phenomenal. Like, dude, Luzardo looked so good through the first 4 innings, and you're like, okay, this is the Luzardo we anticipated, right? I mean, he was cruising. Didn't give up a hit through 3 or 4 innings. And then the wheels completely fall off. Completely fall off. What do you give up? 5 runs in the 5th or something like that? One of those days, man. One of those days. I looked and Philly was up like 4-0. And then when I checked back again, they were down 9-7 in the top of the 10th. It's tough when you've got those abbreviated slates. If something goes against you, and you've got a lot of them, it's hard to claw back from that. Gotta have amnesia, though, huh? New day, new slate. Let's go. Jenna, sometimes I feel like I'd be better off blindly clicking names. It does feel that way sometimes. It's not true, but it definitely feels that way often. We'll see what happens. Maybe today we won't blindly click names and we'll have ourselves a good day. So let's dive into it. 4-game slate starts earlier than usual. So if you're getting lineups in, be sure of that you're making, you're not making the fatal decision, which I've done before, of being like, all right, good. It's 6:45. I got 20 minutes. I got 25 minutes. Nope. Done. And the slate already locked. You got that 1 game sitting at 6:40. I'm glad they added it. It'd be stupid not to. Give us a 4-gamer instead of a 3-gamer. Steven, yeah, Philly had a 5-0 lead. Yep. He said they kept talking on ESPN about how Luzardo can't pitch from the stretch, and that's when he blew up. He gave up a grand slam, right? Didn't he give up a grand slam? Brutal stuff. As a Phillies fan and someone who rostered plenty of Luzardo yesterday, not great. But let's get into it. So, looking at the top pitchers tool here, there's a couple things that we have to identify out of the gate. And we can, work through these pitchers, break them down, dig into the numbers a little bit. One cool thing, if you're not like a premium Fangraphs user, One cool thing you could do on these short sites is go to scores and then probable pitchers, and then just go to custom players, and then you can build out a list just really quickly. And this is easy for you guys if you're not like building your own projections or have your own stuff. Just go in here and quickly get all of this information on every pitcher in one tidy spot. But you've got Gray, you've got Yusei Kikuchi, the two guys pulling the bulk of ownership today, 48 and 46% respectively. They're up there. Both of them are up there pretty significantly. Almost 50% going to both on a two-pitcher site like DraftKings. And then you start getting down into the Luis Severinos, the Eric Lauers against Detroit, Reese Olson against Toronto. Very difficult strikeout matchup there as well. Jason Alexander getting 15% ownership there. Yu Darvish at 14% against St. Louis. So there really isn't anyone outside of Gray and Kikuchi that stands out. And Kikuchi, as you guys already know, I mean, it's always a wild ride with him. There's never smooth. There's never just like comfortable, smooth sailing. Even that last really great start he had, I'm pretty sure he coughed up like 2 runs or 3 runs in the first inning. Might have only been 1, but he threw like 30 pitches in the first inning. And then went out and struck out double-digit batters. So, you know, that's kind of just the way it goes with somebody like Kikuchi. He's got a matchup against the Mariners. They do strike out at a healthy clip, but we'd rather this game be at T-Mobile Park. It's not. It's in LA. And we already know how things go in LA. It's a pretty favorable park for pitchers, or for hitters, sorry. Very favorable park for hitters. 4.7 total for the Mariners today is one of the highest on the slate. So what does that mean? It means you're probably still going to get up or end up getting the Kikuchi, but also that Seattle probably looks good on a 4-gamer. There's really no two ways around that. Seattle's going to look pretty good, and Kikuchi's going to look pretty decent as well. Hey, Jake, good to see you, brother. But, I mean, really think about this for a second. When you look at Kikuchi's numbers, he has a 24% K rate, which is great. But, great all things considered, given the slate size. 10% walk rate, 403 FIP. He's a above average pitcher, but when he gets into trouble, it's not good. And you're going to see him get into trouble at times. And Seattle's the type of team that can absolutely make you pay. They have a boatload of righties on this team. Now, for what it's worth, and in fairness, Kikuchi's pretty good at limiting righties. And I'm pretty sure his K rate against righties I think he has like reverse K splits. But these guys aren't going to face a ton of lefties. No, that's wrong. 23% against righties, 30% against lefties. All right. I mean, that's the way it should be for a lefty. For some reason, I thought he was opposite, but he's not. Besides the point, 23% is fine. We can look into his K prop as well. But yeah, he's going to be the type of guy that's all over the map on us. We already know that. I think all of us are fully understanding that Yusei Kikuchi could blow up against the Mariners, and they could be the best stack on the day. Like if you are picking who you think the top stack is going to be, could absolutely be the Seattle Mariners. Kikuchi's done a decent enough job of preventing home runs, but when he gives up home runs, it's usually multiples. Like he's given up 2+ home runs in 2 of his last 6, but then a lot of those games he's giving up nothing. He's also somebody that, pitching at this park, you're going to run into some issues at Angel Stadium as well. So I like both spots here. I like Kikuchi a lot, knowing that there's strikeout upside. Also knowing that he's very capable of having a great game on a day where you don't have a lot of great pitching. We saw it against Boston. What was it, like 4 or 5 starts ago? Yeah, 7 innings, no earned, 12 strikeouts. He has double-digit strikeout upside. He's proven that on multiple occasions. And oddly enough, at home, he's been markedly better than he has on the road this year. So yeah, I think Kikuchi's a good play. Sonny Gray is the other one. Sonny Gray, who are we comparing Sonny Gray to? Who did you guys, someone made a brilliant call when we were comparing pitchers to like spike week fantasy football players, wide receivers. Who are we comparing Sonny Gray? Oh, somebody called Sonny Gray the Mike Evans of Major League Baseball as far as pitching goes. And it couldn't have been a more apt comparison. Sonny Gray will go out there and consistently give you like the 15 to 20. And then once in a while, he'll just pop for an insane game. And he'll do it in spots oftentimes that aren't even the easiest of matchups, right? So yeah, Sonny Gray is the Mike Evans of MLB DFS. He's getting 48%, but this is a product not of the matchup, but of the slate. If this were a 10-game slate like Monday or Tuesday we saw earlier this week where there were some really elite pitchers going on both of those slates, there's just no way Sonny Gray's getting even remotely close to 50% ownership. Honestly, against the Padres, $9,500 on Sonny Gray, he's getting sub 20% ownership. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Sonny Gray's getting sub 20% ownership if this is a larger slate, but it's not. So we work with what we have. The Padres are not the type of team that's going to strike out at an alarmingly high clip. Doesn't work all that well for Sonny Gray. But in the same breath, we take what we're given. He's also been extraordinarily good at home this year. On the road is where he's been blown up. He's been blown up on the road this year. And you look at the Padres against righties this year, they're okay. 104 WRC plus, same as Texas and the Angels. It's ranked 20th in baseball, so bottom 10. They really haven't been all that great of an offense. 139 WRC plus, bottom 5 in the league, bottom 4 against righties. Problem is they have an 18% K rate, higher than only 2 other teams, the Royals and the Toronto Blue Jays. So yeah, you have a team that's actually been below average against righties, but also a team that does not strike out and puts everything in play. So, yeah. Rodney, if Sonny is the Mike Evans, then who is his Lattimore? I don't know. You'd have to look at a team that blows Sonny Gray up every time he faces them and then gets in a fight with him. You know? Kelsey, I don't like Sonny Gray against the Padres, but we'll see. Yeah, look, I don't love him either. I mean, I think I probably just did a decent enough job of laying out kind of why the ownership's going there today. And it's less a product of the matchup and more of the slate for sure. And that Sonny Gray's just a good pitcher. But I don't think anyone's just going to love Sonny Gray. And why would you? It's not the greatest spot. It's tough to get strikeouts here. I do have faith, though, in a guy like, the funny thing about him is, similar to a Mike Evans in a sense. Like, when it's going well, there's nothing that can stop it. When it's going well for Mike Evans, you're talking, 10 reception, 150, 2 touchdowns against anybody except Lattimore. When it's going well for Sonny Gray and he's dialed in, it really doesn't matter what's happening elsewhere or who's coming to the plate. When Sonny Gray's dialed, he's just going to play well. And you hope that's today if you're playing a lot of them. Jim Parrish, how do we feel about Eric Lauer? Yeah, interesting spot on Lauer, right? So you've got him going up against Detroit today. Obviously not the best matchup you're looking for whatsoever. 4.9 run implied total, but he has in our tools, and we'll get to exposures in just a moment, the 4th highest top 2 pitcher probability, essentially tied with Severino. So outside of Sonny Gray at 30%, Kikuchi at 36%, Lauer's really not far off from anybody not named Kikuchi here. And 22% ownership, which means he's actually slightly positively leveraged on such a small slate. You don't have many options, right? There's a dearth of real talent here today, or a dearth of talent plus matchup, right? I think that would be a better way to look at it. There's talent. It's just how many of these guys are in the type of spots that are just smash spots. And if they were, honestly, they'd be so popular that it doesn't even matter. But Lauer against Detroit, 4.9 total. Look, if you look by opponent totals here, LA's at 5 against Logan Evans. Detroit's at 4.9 against Lauer. Seattle against Kikuchi, who has the highest top 2 pitcher probability and the second most ownership, they're still at 4.7. Toronto, who doesn't strike out at all, is at 4.6 against Reese Olson, 4.5 for Houston against Severino, 4.5 for St. Louis against San Diego. Even Athletics against Jason Alexander, they're at 4.4, right? So the point I'm making is no one really stands out. Eric Lauer's thrown 61 innings this year. He's started 9 games. He's had 15 appearances. 27% K rate. Now, what we should do is try and isolate his K rate in those starts and not as a reliever. Because in relief appearances, unless you're like long relief in every one of those, and I know he has had some long relief efforts this year, that can be a little bit misleading. Like, how's he been doing from a strikeout perspective in these spots where he's starting? And I'll say, Eric Lauer is not the type of guy, I don't think anyone believes this, that is just going to be out there striking out consistently like 28% of batters. But in the same breath, at 7,900, is he viable? You're damn right he is. Even in a tough spot? Yeah, because what are your alternatives? Luis Severino's cheap, but he's not good. You're talking 26% ownership against Houston. And you look at the strikeout rates here. Severino's at 16% on the season. God awful. Against a team that doesn't strike out at a high clip anyway. God awful stuff. You go look here. So Darvish and Alexander haven't thrown many innings this year, but still, Darvish, it's a little bit concerning. You have a decent sample for Gray, obviously, qualified pitchers. Gray, Kikuchi, Severino. Severino is who he is at this point. There's no like, hey, he'll turn it around. You might begin seeing a lot more strikeouts here. No, this is who Luis Severino is. He's a 16% strikeout pitcher with an 8% K minus BB percentage and a 4.69 xFIP. That's who he is. He's had the disadvantage of having to pitch in that athletic stadium in Sacramento. What is it, like Sutter Health Field? But, that's not the whole story here. I think somebody like Eric Lauer has to be in the conversation. Has to be. 81 pitches last time out, but 2 starts before that, 94 pitches. So I don't think you have any legitimate concerns about how deep he can go into this game. Let's take a look at some strikeout props. These help us every time we do it. Point us in the right direction. Eric Johnson, hi Dave. Dick Mountain didn't do badly. What was his final What was his final line in that game, Eric? And good morning, by the way. Marion, Mariners on the road been a different team. Yeah, and that's not just this year, dude. That's every year. Both their pitchers and their hitters, every single year. It's totally sensible though. It's the worst hitters park in the league. It's worse than Oracle. Let's see what we got for strikeouts. All right, so Kikuchi 6.5. Wow. 6.5 K prop on Kikuchi at 8,300. No wonder we're getting to a lot of him right now. That's a lot of strikeouts. That's a big prop on a low 8K guy. Logan Evans, 4.5, juiced under pretty heavily. Severino, 4.5, better than I thought, honestly. Still not great. Sonny Gray, 5.5. Wow, 4.5 on, wow. 4.5 on DraftKings. That is not encouraging. 5.5, a lot of juice to the under on Circa, MGM. Damn. Olson, 4.5. Darvish, 4.5. Lauer 4.5, minus 145 to the over. Alexander 4.5. So Darvish clearly looking the best from a strikeout standpoint. Wow. K McD, what's up, dude? Detroit has been abysmal. With this weak slate, it makes sense to go Lauer. You know what, man? Sometimes on a slate like this where you might need something to break the tie, something, to get you to the other side of the fence when you're straddling it, because there's no real answers that, data is going to account for. Because data is not going to account for very abbreviated hot and cold streaks for teams. But you know what? On a slate like this, I'm not fully opposed to it. It's a 162 game season. There are times when certain teams are just flat out not hitting, not performing. Remember we talked about this extensively with the Mets, like last month. Well, actually, sorry, this month, where it was like this team, no matter who they faced, they were going to go out there and score 0 or 1 runs. And we knew that this wasn't going to last forever, right? There's no way. They're back in first place. They're a half a game up in the NL East. Despite all of that, despite how terrible they were for an extended period of time, which over the course of season is actually not an extended period of time. You'll look back and it's a blip on the radar. But for those of us doing this, tuning into the show every day, sometimes a week or two can feel like an eternity, especially when you're stacking that damn team every day. Not to say we were, but you know what I mean. So if there are instances where a team is just not hitting, and it is true that this Tigers team has been unraveling recently. I think they've lost like 8 of their last 10 with a bunch of games where they're just producing 0 scoring. Then maybe it is worthwhile on a 4-game slate. If this are a 10 or 12 gamer, I'm not trying to use all of that because it could turn like this. You can't really quantify when these streaks are going to start or end. But yeah, I could see that being viable. No issues there. Anyway, 6.5 K prop. Outs prop. Let's see. Severino's at 17.5 with a 4.5 K prop. I bet we get some of him in the Sims. Seeing these props right now, 17.5 outs prop, 4.5 strikeout prop at 6K. I bet we get some. Evans is at 14.5, 15.5, heavy underjuiced. Reese Olson, 15.5. Lauer, 15.5. Sonny Gray, 17.5. Dude, are you telling me right now that Sonny Gray has at least on draft, has a similar K prop and outs prop to Luis Severino? Wow. Darvish 15.5. Kikuchi 16.5. Look, BetMGM has it at 17.5. What about earned runs? Severino 2.5. Evans 2.5. Kikuchi 2.5. Olson 2.5. Lauer 2.5. Darvish 2.5 DraftKings, 1.5 on MG, but similar because you look at the juice there. 1.5 on Sonny Gray. All right, I think it's time we look at exposures. I got to ask you guys. We got to do this. I know we don't have as many watching today on such a small slate, but we got to do this for the brand. We have to, and I haven't looked yet. Given what we know right now, we've just dug into a lot of numbers. We've looked through the props. We looked at the top pitchers tool. Give me who you think are going to be our highest exposed pitchers in order. 1, 2, 3. We won't go beyond that. 1, 2, 3. I'm I want to say I don't want to put Sonny Gray in it. I'm going to go Kikuchi, Lauer. No, Kikuchi, Severino, Eric Lauer, based on what we know. I haven't looked. I genuinely don't know. I'm almost positive it'll be Kikuchi, seeing that his props look great today, and he has the highest top 2 pitcher probability by 6% over Sonny Gray. Steven says Gray, Kikuchi, Severino. Okay. So I'm saying no on Gray here. With props like that at 9,500 and negatively leveraged by a bit, I'm going to not. I could say with relative certainty that Gray will not be the highest exposed. Jake has Gray, Lauer, Kikuchi, Lee, Kikuchi, and Lauer. Jameson, Kikuchi, Lauer, Severino. Okay, so we're going similar except swapping Lauer and Severino. Let's do it. Let's see what we got. Here we go. The big reveal. I was close. I got the first two, but Sonny Gray is up there at 32%. Okay, Lauer at 27%. So I'll consider that a small victory. Kikuchi, we're getting a ton of. I'm not shocked by that at all. Luis Severino, 41%. When I saw that his props actually looked much better than I would have originally suspected, I knew we'd get Severino. Sonny Gray at 32%, and Eric Lauer at 27%. So basically heavy fades on Alexander, Olsen, Darvish, and Evans. And we're getting almost all of our teams are getting the Kikuchi, Severino, Gray, and Lauer in some form or fashion. Makes sense to me. I don't hate it. Now, are there any of these 4 guys we're not getting to that you guys want to get more of? The problem I run into with Reese Olson is that I do think Kikuchi looks better today. And they're similarly priced. Toronto really, really makes for a difficult matchup. Not only are they hitting better than anyone would have anticipated this year, but they strike out at like 16%, lowest K rate in the league on their active roster. No team is even, I mean, when I say no team's close, like no team's within 1% of them. And we're more than half, we're what, 3+ months into the 3 months into the season? 4 months, right? Yeah, 4 months into the season. Steven, I kind of don't mind Olsen. Jays on the road do not hit the same in Detroit. Yeah, if Olsen isn't getting ownership, fine. Under 2.5 earned runs, minus 145. I think his outs prop was only at 15.5. 15.5. And what was his K prop at? 4.5. That's the one that's tough. That's tough when you've got an $8,100 guy and he's minus 150 at 4.5 strikeouts. It doesn't mean he can't have a strong game. You know, if Olsen goes out there and strikes out 5, which is more than plausible, and goes 6 one-run innings, that ends up being a great game. Just because a team doesn't strike out doesn't mean, you know, a guy can't have 5 strikeouts in a great game and a good start. Olsen held Toronto to 1 hit last matchup. Sure, it's doable. Of course. And there isn't much from an implied total perspective that really differentiates a lot of these guys. 4.6 total for Toronto. 4.7 for Seattle, and we have a ton of Kikuchi. It's 4.9 for Detroit. And we have a lot more Lauer than Reese Olson. You know, 4.5 for Houston against Severino. We got a lot of him. Walton, 6 Ks and 1 hit. Olsen held them to. Yeah. Granted, that's 1 start, but again, that can happen. It's just playing major MLB DFS like that can be, a fool's errand if you're looking at one previous start and you're not really adding any context, especially how we're approaching the rest of the slate. The argument I'd make here is that if Kikuchi's getting close to 50% and Olson's getting around 20, then maybe it does make sense to get to more Reese Olson. Totally get that. Eric, isn't Kikuchi good at home? Yeah, he's much better at home than on the road. Sonny Gray has been the same way this season. Much, much better at home than he has been on the road. Severino's getting a lot of ownership. Yeah, but Eric, if you missed this, and I pointed it out a moment ago, I don't think it's irrelevant. Actually, I know it's not. That Severino's K prop, like look at this on DraftKings. 4.5 minus 130. Sonny Gray's 4.5 minus 160. Look at the alt props on Severino. 17.5 minus 135 on DraftKings. And Sonny Gray is 17.5 minus 120. It's wild, right? Better earn run prop for Sonny Gray, but you get where I'm going with this. Vastly different price points. So you're going to have to get to some Severino here. I think so. The real downside with Severino is that he doesn't get a lot of strikeouts. But again, we could say the same. If the same argument you're making about Matt Olson, it's like, if he goes out there and he just limits base runners, then things could work out for him. What do you really need from Severino? You get 18 from him here, you're probably pretty happy about that. And it's reasonable to assume that he could get the win, right? There's no clear favorite in this game on either side. Just look at the totals. They'll tell you everything you need to know. I do not like playing Luis Severino, but I also understand that on a 4-game slate, you have to make some concessions and do things a little bit differently. Brandjoy, I'm worried about Kikuchi. Mariners probably have the best offense on the road this year. Yeah, clearly one of the most dramatic home road split teams you're going to get. Makes sense in a terrible home park, but also a ton of power bats that can do a ton of damage on the road. 123 WRC plus on the road. It is the best in the league. Their K rate drops considerably away from home. Still 15th. They walk at a near 10% clip. It's top 4. 175 ISO, 176 top 5. 347 weighted on base average is number 1. It is not the best matchup. I think if you're playing a bunch of lineups, you should want Kikuchi and you should also want a lot of the Mariners. There is nothing that should dissuade you from wanting to get to the Mariners just because you've got plenty of Kikuchi lineups at all. 4-game slate. I have no problem hedging in spots like that. Because Kikuchi's K prop is still 6.5. Don't let that get lost. Right? Seeing everything Seattle's done on the road, don't lose the fact that Kikuchi still has the highest K prop on the slate and is $1,200 less expensive than Sonny Gray. Just throwing it out there. Anyway, let's get to our stacks here, see what we can do. And as always, you guys want to use these tools for yourself, hit me up, DM me. I got back to every day when I get these DMs, I get back to you guys as quick as I possibly can. I'll hit you with a great promo code. My handle's right there, Laffy_D, LOUGHY_D. Via Twitter, even on Instagram, you want to hit me up. Hell, you want to go Facebook Messenger, go for it. Laffy, can I get that code for a steeply discounted week or month of the MLB Sims? You got it, brother. Just an insane season for everybody rocking the avatars and using the tools. Like, as I flip through these, you guys see the amount of wins. And not just the huge 100K, 50, 25K wins, but all of these massive mini-max wins as well, which I think are just as valuable for people coming in being like, well, I don't know if I want to use tools, when I'm when I'm playing the mini max or the solo shot. Why not? Your edge increases dramatically. Look, these are all from this month, man. All of these are from this month. Just huge wins. And these are just the people that hit us up on the Stokastic Hall of Fame. So DM me, or like I said, low stakes players doesn't make a difference to me. We have the link in the description, right? The first link in the description. If you click more and expand it, whether you're on your phone or you're on your desktop or whatever, it says join any sportsbook, get Stokastic Sims free. It'll take you here. Literally just click claim offer on any of these or any of the pick'em sites if you're in a non-legal betting state. Make a deposit. It's a 5 or 10 deposit, depending on what book. Place your bet, set a lineup, and the moment that's all, you may even win it. And if you win it, you already covered all of your costs. Take a screenshot of the welcome email from the book or the pick'em site and your first settled bet, and then just email us at support@stokastic.com. Ron's amazing at handling these quick. Send us your screenshots. It's those 4 simple steps. Takes minutes after you place the bet. And tell us what you want. If you sign up for one book, say Caesars, you're talking $5 minimum deposit, I think. And you get a month of the Sims. It's $130 value. So essentially free. Because you get your bonuses over there on Caesars. If you sign up for 3 of them and you say, you know what, I want PGA, I want MMA, and I want MLB, boom. You spent anywhere from like 15 to 25 bucks. Now you've got well over $300 worth of the tools. Simplest, quickest, smartest, most cost-effective way to get in on all of these tools, whether you're playing the lottos, whether you're playing the high-stakes single-entry stuff, 3-max, or you're playing the mini-max or the 50-cent max. Doesn't matter. This is how you can do it by spending less than you would spend by far in one entry fee. That's how you do it. Or DM me and I'll get you a code that way. One way or the other, I got you. All right, let's take a look at our exposures here, see what we can do. There's Ron. Hey, brother. He said, I am amazing. Thanks, Dave. It's the last time I'm going to say anything good about you. You keep popping in here with that stuff, Ron. It's true, though. He does a good job. Stack exposure. I tell you, the tools were all over Kansas City yesterday, and that was nice. I just had too much Strider. Didn't have a horrible morning or afternoon slate, but had Strider not been bad, I was overloaded on Kansas City. Could have been really good. St. Louis, again. Okay. Interesting. Where do they rank? Against Darvish. St. Louis against Darvish, 4.5 team total, 10% top stack, but nothing really matters here. Every team's in between 10 and 14%. Third best, top value. Not all the way up there in stack score. So I wonder, is it just a cheap team that's getting us there? Is it just that they're cheap? We're going to look at exposures in a second. That'll kind of clarify a lot of this stuff. Damn, Hulk Hogan died too right after Ozzy? Is that real? Damn. Is that real? Wow, man, right after Ozzy. In fairness, Ozzy lived like 70 years longer than I would have anticipated. What, are we making things up now? Let's see. See if we can find anything. Yep. It's real. 71. These are just lovely people, huh? Just a happy, lovely person. Well, that sucks. The Hulkster. Stack exposure. Tough part of this show is those type of transitions. All right, back to our stacks. 19% Houston. We're getting a lot of them across the board, though. You're talking about like 36% or so. Houston, a lot of them against Severino. So we're getting Severino and Houston. Are we getting Seattle? About 11%. I probably want to bump that, honestly, a little bit. If there's one spot I'd like to bump a little bit, it would be Seattle. Maybe bring down Kikuchi. Let's see what we can do before we get out of here. So we're getting a little Detroit too. Not a ton. But let's see what happens if I'm not going to touch Kikuchi's exposure, but I'm going to bump, or I'm sorry, I'm going to boost Seattle. So let's just boost Seattle as a stack. Let's give them like a 15% boost and see what happens. I don't want to do anything dramatic. Let's see how much this changes our pitching exposure, first of all. Oh, it brings Kikuchi down a lot. See, in that instance, I'd probably do like a 10% boost to Seattle because that dropped it a lot. But it does show that Seattle actually looks pretty good. Look at that. A 15% boost to Seattle, just 15%, brings them up a ton. So what happens if we do 10%? Can we kind of find a balance, strike a balance here? Usually you don't see that much movement on a simple 15% stack boost at all. All right, let's see what changes. Still a lot. 18%, 19, 20. Wow. It's like 38%. And then Kikuchi. So essentially every lineup, let's see, 58% Kikuchi and 37% Seattle. So essentially almost every non-Seattle lineup has Kikuchi and every non-Kikuchi lineup almost has Seattle. Very interesting. With just a 10% boost, that tells us a lot. Tells us a lot. Damn. All right. Hey, by the way, if you guys want to join the Stokastic Hall of Fame, make sure you're rocking the avatar. Stokastic.com/HOF. It's that simple. Stokastic, or just use the link in the description. Download Stokastic.com/HOF. Use any of these. Download them. Use it whereas you play. I use this one right here, the blue one. But I see them littered across the leaderboard, all 6 of these, which is awesome. If you finish top 3 in a field of 5,000 or more, rocking the avatar, it doesn't matter if it's a 25-cent entry or a $100 entry. And then tweet us at StokasticHOF. Just follow the steps. You know, maybe a nice message, but obviously shoot us those screenshots. That's all you got to do. And you can win a lot of times in a calendar year. I think a lot of people forget that. If you win one time, you get a free month of any single sports Sims package. Max, by the way, that's Sims Max, like $200 value. Win twice in a calendar year, get another free month plus a free week of any other single sports Sims package. Win 3 times in a calendar year. Again, this could be 25-cent entry, doesn't matter. You know, obviously we love seeing the monsters, but it doesn't matter. Get a month of Sims All Access, every sport. That's every tool on the site, $550 value. Platinum, of course, you get the free year of Sims All Access. And if you get in the Ring of Honor, any $20,000 win, no matter the field size, I just sent out 6 rings yesterday. Made that ring order for. Get that beautiful ring in the spinning display case with your name in there. You know, your win, how much you won on what day in the contest. Very cool stuff. You guys will love it. So yeah, sure, Jim, we could do that before we go. Let's build a lineup in the single lineup Sims. Let me quick check our exposures across all of our players. Altuve, Julio Rodriguez, Fernando Tatis, Arozarena, Alec Burleson. Wow, look how spread out we are here. That is 6 guys between 20 and 40% in the outfield. JP Crawford at 29%, Seattle. Mind you, I boosted Seattle. Keep that in mind. I brought Kikuchi down a little bit. Zach Nitto, 27%. Third base, Manny Machado, 42. Dubon, 17. Second base, Jose Altuve, Brendan Donovan. Those 2 guys soaking up a lot of our exposure at second base. Christian Walker, Wilson Contreras, Victor Caratini. Cal Raleigh, 35%. Ivan Herrera, 27%. Yanier Diaz at 26%. Those 3 guys pulling a ton. And then at pitcher, with the boost to Seattle, not touching Kikuchi, but for obvious reasons, he's going to come down. It's still 58 Kikuchi. I feel better than 81%, honestly. Severino, Sonny Gray, and Eric Lauer. Alexander bumps to 14% as well. All right, let's build one in the single lineup sim. By the way, if you were to sign up with any of our sports books, like I was telling you about with that link, or you happen to DM me, get a code, sign up for a week or a month, the single lineup sims comes with this. Not just the sims, not just top stacks, top pitcher. You get the single lineup sim as well, which is a really cool tool for hand builders to get that instant feedback on a sim lineup, knowing that you are now vaulting yourself into 2025 DFS, even though you still enjoy the hand building process. By the way, if you guys don't mind hitting that thumbs up, it goes a long way. I appreciate you. It's free to do that, and subscribing, totally free. And if you hate it, you can unsubscribe. You can even click that back through all of our former videos and remove the thumbs up and hit the thumbs down twice. So who do we want to build with? I think we should do a Seattle stack. I think we should do a Kikuchi fade with a Seattle stack and go like Sonny Gray. I'm going to go Sonny Gray and Severino. Let's see if we can get a positive simmed lineup. Steven, you're saying my min cash on the quarter jukebox is not Hall of Fame worthy. No, but a top 3 in the quarter jukebox is Hall of Fame worthy. We got to go Cal Raleigh, right? We just have to. Super expensive, but I think we can make this work. Jay Nevy or Jay Nevy? Yeah, this is one of those slates where I'm just going to put my faith in the Sims. They've been great on these abbreviated slates. I'm going to do the same, but I think I will tamp down Kikuchi a little bit, get a little bit more Seattle. Really feel that matchup could go both ways. If I'm around 50+% on Kikuchi, I'm okay with that. First base. I mean, we could go, so let's see where our best, let's see where we want to prioritize Seattle bats. I mean, I think Julio Rodriguez and a Rosarena. That gives us 3, right? We got 3. Do we want to throw one more in here? We could go, nah. I might go with a 3-man Seattle. What other team do we like? Let's actually go 3-man Seattle stack and go St. Louis. Let's see how this works. We have 3,800 remaining. So Contreras clearly makes sense at 3,900. Clearly. Brendan Donovan is 4K. Arenado is 30. I'm loving how this build is shaping up, honestly. Could go 4-3-1 too. Burleson at 3,800. Now that gives us 38 remaining. So you could go Mason Wynn there. That would obviously make the most sense. 3,800. That gives us access to Jacob Wilson, Mason Wynn, Javi Bot. Let's go Mason Wynn and see what happens. So it's Luis Severino, Sonny Gray with a 5-3 St. Louis Seattle stack. Boom. Look at that. Love it. Now I want to do something. Let's go large field contest 10% to first. So let's say we're doing this in the mini max. Let's say we're going to play this in the mini max. How does it grade out for something like that? Large field 10% to first. How much does this change things? 50. So an even better lineup in a large field 10%. Large field 25% to first. Let's see if it changes things at all. We were 43% small field, 50% large field with a non-top heavy payout. Wow. Okay. So there you go. There you go. 63% large field, 25% to first. Great in any of these lotto styles. That's what we got. Sick. Good call on asking me to do that. Jim, remind me more often. I'll be happy to. Anyway, appreciate you guys hanging out. Have a great rest of the day. We'll close out the work week tomorrow with a sizable Friday slate. I'm also going to be doing the snipe session over on Twitter, breaking down some bets, some home runs, you name it. Come join me around 3 p.m., maybe earlier. We'll see when I go live. Turn on notifications. Of course, if you're not following me, give me a follow over at Lafayette_D, LOUGHY_D. The football season is rapidly approaching. And why would you not want to come shoot the shit with your boy? Let's have some fun. And I'll see you back here tomorrow. Remember, live before lock tonight as well. Those guys will carry you into the slate, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.